Name is Mahesh. Today we are looking one AWS service which is AWS CodePipeline and the AWS CodeBuild. In this tutorial, we are configuring a CI total continuous integration on the AWS itself. We are using the code pipeline to create a pipeline and fetch the code every time when the user made changes on the code repository. Code pipeline will automatically fetch this like changes and throughout the code build it can generate an image and push the same image on the DockerHub. So we are so first we gonna configure AWS code build because we are not using the AWS code commit on this tutorial because the we are using the GitHub account. I have stored my test application that we are using today on the GitHub itself. So also the GitHub is widely used platform as mostly used platform in comparison to AWS Code Commit. It has a limited features and all those things. We and the GitHub also requires some extra configuration over the on the AWS Code Build and all those AWS Code Pipeline. So because of that, we are using GitHub as our VCS version control system to store our repository. Um, we are deploying this sample Python application that takes the email ID name and the email ID from the user and just prints the same email ID and the username over the one website, and it is exposing the it is working on the port 5000 on any IP address. Will take any request from the any IP address. So this is the Flask-based application. We are deploying this simple application throughout we are implement a continuous integration throughout the code build and deploy this application. Create a Docker file to use this image as in a Docker inside a Docker file. So let's look into it. First, we need a AWS code commit. AWS code. Let's go on a code commit. So let's go over the code build. We are creating one project. Let's name as AWS Python application. So we need to provide any additional resources. No, we didn't restrict any concurrent build right now. We need, I don't know. Does we need a yeah, we need to configure extra things. So we did not using the concurrent builds for the primary source control. We are using GitHub. If we are using any other platform, might S3 or any Bitbucket or Git Enterprise, that at that time the AWS will automatically create a mirror copy on the S3 or like any service we are using. So we don't want that right now. So let's me authorize my credentials over here. We are connecting throughout the OAuth to the AWS. Let me confirm this. Yeah, Git repository. Let me search my repository over here. Simple Python app. There you go. So we don't provide any source version. Uh, we not changing anything over here. As EC2 managed image. On the EC2. No, we not any changing anything over here. We are using EC2. We are using Ubuntu standard image and the latest image. The build standard always use the latest. Okay, not an issue. Let's create a role. Role is basically we are giving the access. If we are using any other services, we are using this time systems configuration or systems manager to store our credentials such as Docker username and the password. So for that we need to create a role to authorize authorize access throughout the AWS code build throughout the AWS code build to a systems manager to fetch the some details from there, such as a username and password we have talked about. So insert a image. No, we're not inserting any image. We are building a build spec file. Switch to editor. Let's keep by default right now. Or no, we can create one repo. Let's do a single line. Exit to build spec, no. Define batch configuration, no. Artifact, no. We not providing any artifact right now. Encryption key, keep as default. CloudWatch log optional and S3 log optional. Create a build project. Uh, it might take, yeah, it is done. Let's go on the build project build. We have to edit the build spec file over here. Use the edit. We need to configure a build spec file. So first we need to, uh, we need one template of build spec file. Build spec file. Okay, we need to copy the build spec template from the over here. From here, okay, we can paste the template over here. We don't need multiple things such as variables and the shell. We can remove this. For the parameter stored, we need to configure on the AWS System Manager. Exported variables, we don't need the secret manager and the proxy. We don't need those things. Let's remove this batch. We don't need store value. Okay. We don't need phases install. We don't need to install anything as such. So let's remove this phase total, and we can do the pre-build from here. Let's remove this one also. I can provide the build spec file on the AWS on this project itself. So you can, yeah, either copy and the paste from there, or you can like type it by manually. Let's need We need a pre-build phase. On the pre-build phase, we are installing the requirements that we need to that we need on this machine to install run this project, run this Python application. So requirement.txt already mentioned over here. So we need like Python pip install require hyphen r requirements.txt. Let me copy from here and the paste it over here. So we have done that. We need a version system. So let me check. Yeah, we don't need this. We have installed. We need a runtime version. So let me check where I can get the runtime version. So runtime version. From the runtime version, we can copy and the paste it from here. It is We can use over here install. Let me install runtime version. Okay, pre-build commands install. Let me check. And there are only one runtime version. We can give our runtime as Python. Let's remove this Python python. Okay, Python colon 3.11. That the version we are currently that we need. So we have set up the runtime. We don't need to set up the parameter store right now. We can do the build process. So let's remove. We don't need require this right now. As I have said, I can share the same buildspec.yaml file on the repository itself. So you can copy either from there, or you can type it manually. So we have installed the prerequisites of our Python application. So we need a build. We need a command to install the builds. So yeah, we can proceed. We need a commands over here. So first command we can echo. We For like formatting, I am like sharing some command on the echo. So it can display on the logs itself. So it would be much clear when you add the echo command. So we are installing the dependency. So first, I have we have added this one. We need to add echo button, like echo command, so it can display on the logs itself. So let's install the runtime. So runtime. Let's go on that folder, particular folder that we have over here. So it is a simple Python app. So cd simple Python app. Okay, let me call it. Okay, let's find the systems manager over here. Systems manager. We can find out throughout the like this SSM systems manager. We need parameter store to store our parameters, credentials, secrets, and all those things. Create parameter. We can give anything as a path, like Docker username, Docker Python project username. So we can give this as we are like throughout this kind of a like attribute, we can segregate like easily find out which project secrets it is stored. So we create a secure string. We don't need to change anything over here. We can provide our secrets over here. So we are username. So let me paste my secret over here from the DockerHub. DockerHub. I need my DockerHub username and the password. So sign in. Uh, sign in. So my Docker username will be this one, I guess. Let me check. Yes, this is my Docker username. Let me go on my account. Let me copy my email address and the password over there. So, okay, I have added create a parameter. Parameter must, okay, parameter name must not end with slash. Okay, parameter name. We'll create a parameter. Okay, the parameter is created. Let me do the same with the Docker URL also and the Docker password also. My account password, I can say. I have added all those credentials over here on the parameter store. We can copy the same credentials on the our parameter store over here. So let's we need to create a parameter store over here. So let add Docker. Let type in the caps Docker underscore uh, registry registry registry. Okay, registry underscore username. We have providing username. So provide a value as it in the systems manager. So let's provide a username from here and okay, we have provided the username. Same with the password and the URL. So let's copy paste it three times. Okay. Um, username shit user user password colon. We are copying the password. Okay, and the URL. We're copying the URL path from here. So URL would be this one. So all those things are copied. Uh, Now we can do the other changes on this over here. So let's remove the cache we don't need. Uh, we can remove this one also. We don't need artifact manager as such. Artifact identifier at secondary artifact S3 prefix. We don't need some of the details. Reports. We don't need the whole report section. Okay. So let's remove this one also. Oh shit. Remove this one also. Okay. So from the post, let's complete the pre-build. I can provide my username and the password as part of a echo command over here, Docker. Let me call my Docker username. Let me okay. Let me call my Docker password itself over here, and we can do the login. Uh, do the login to the Docker Hub first. So go on Docker login -u. I can provide in double quotes the URL Docker URL. We can copy the parameter from here. Docker registry URL. Docker registry URL. Let's copy. We have copied. Second thing, we need a Docker username. We have copied the username and the our repository URL. We have copied the URL and the username. We need a also password. It's done. Okay. So let's done. This is done. We have log. We can log in to our Docker now. We don't need to provide the Docker. Okay, we don't need to provide a Docker URL over here. So hyphen u, that means we are providing the username only. Hyphen password is stdin. That means the standard input. Std in double quotes again. We can provide the Docker registry URL now. So let's copy the registry URL from here and the paste over there directly. So now we can able to log into our Docker URL. So we have done this process. We can do the build Docker build hyphen t for tag. We are tagging this to like we are providing all those things right now again. So Docker Docker registry URL we are providing a Docker registry URL. Let me copy from here. Uh, Docker registry URL to the Docker username and the Docker the project we are going to create Docker project Docker username and the project. We haven't created the project yet on the Docker Hub, so might we get error over there. So let's check. Simple Python app. So colon let's let me we have tag as a latest when and we using Docker registry URL to the Docker username and the simple Python name. Usually the command will be in the normal cases like such as docker.io. We are providing the username such as Mahesh and our repository name, simple Python app. We are getting this kind of a URL as such. So for the security purpose, we in the company. So we don't need we are securing our like repositories and the particular application and the credentials. So that's why we are using the systems manager and the secrets manager, we can say, to store our Docker registry URL and all those things, username and the passwords. So we have created the Docker build. We can do the Docker push now. We can push the same image, like what we can say. Uh, let's copy all those things from here, paste it over here in the double quotes, and yeah, we can push this Docker image. For the post build, we can do. We don't need this finally. Okay, for the post builds, let's enter once. Enter, yeah, commands for the post builds. We can put one echo command to if the pipeline was successful, we can get the output. Pipeline successful, successful. I guess I have typed the typed the perfect like good spelling. A good spelling we can say I have typed the correct spelling, I guess. So artifacts, for the artifacts, we need to provide files and the location. So location, I can say we can provide a location such as mm, asterisk stuff. So Okay, the base directory we have to provide over here. So base base directory. We not implicitly missing the colon artifact manager. So we can remove this one. We don't need right now. We can remove the finally also from here. Let's update the build spec. So we have updated this thing. Let's try to run this now. Getting build failed, following occur, and then zero builds in the account. So start overrides. Okay, let's update. Let's refresh this once. Then start build. Fail to start. The following error occur. Cannot more. Okay, we are getting some issue. So let's check if we have done any mistake over here. So we have set up, install, build, and the post build. So batch role. Is there any issue? Edit permission? No, not here. Edit. We can give privilege. We can privilege this. There are one option over here. Let me check. Privilege. Not here. Um, enable privilege. Public access of mail restrict no at source no. So let's go on a project. Click on add action. Edit permission trigger no manage notification edit. So we can check is there any permission issues over here. Uh, yeah, privileged. I got this. Enable this privilege. If you want to build Docker images, you get elevated privileges. So update this project and run this pipeline now. Okay, getting the same error again. Docker username, registry password, -u username and the Docker. Okay. So I'll get a issue on the project details. Build spec.yaml. Registry. Okay, Docker registry password -u username and the Docker login. Yeah, Docker registry URL. stdin. Did I typed it correct? Stdin. Let me check my documentation. Stdin. Yeah, I have done it correctly. So Docker Docker login -u. Yeah, all those things are correct in my opinion, I guess. Docker registry username. We have added this issue over here, so we can remove this one. Yes, update the build spec. Now run. We can build. Now build can run. Phase details. Okay, now let's try. Fingers crossed. Okay, still on the building something. It is installing. Getting error, I guess. Yeah. Error while executing this command. Docker registry URL. Okay, there are another slash over here. We need to change that. Docker registry username. Simple as reason exit. We are building this. We are getting issue on the build itself. So Docker build. Okay. Let's go on let's go on a build spec file on the project build triggers project details. We are getting so many errors, so we can solve this. Build spec Docker build registry URL. So by registry URL, I can provide the docker.io directly. Anyway, we don't use the Docker registry uh, systems managers to fetch those things. So simple Python python is that correct? Okay. Uh, yeah, we have selected Docker push. Okay, I can change the details over here also. Uh, Anyway, let's update the build spec right now and just start build. We have failed. We have done the 8 builds, so on. 8 builds right now. I'm into pre-build is succeeded. Getting error again. In the Docker build. Simple Python app doesn't exist. Reason while executing this will get error. Refresh over here. Does we need to add create repository? Repository name is simple Python app. It is public, so create one. Simple Python app. This repository has been created. Copy this and just go over build projects. Let's try to update the detail now. Build spec file. Okay, simple Python app. Where is this username? Okay, username is a different thing. My username is a different. Okay, username simple Python app. Simple Python app colon latest docker.io. I can provide the username also over here. Uh, let's copy from here and just paste it. So now we can check start build. If we are getting issue, same issue again. Pre-build is done. Now check. Let's check on the build itself. If we get any error, we'll get. Let's check. Getting error again. Oh, build is done. We can. This error is on the Docker push itself, so we can change the Docker push. We can almost deploy our project. We have. Shit. Yeah, we are inside a Docker build right now. So we are completing the Docker build, and by Docker build, we need to every time, if every time we have to run the pipeline, we need to start. We need to every time do the start build. If like if we set up a AWS code pipeline, the once the user updated the repository, it will automatically invoke the AWS code build and do the all do run on the nodes itself, on the agents itself, we can say. On the Jenkins, we did inside the Jenkins, we can once we run the pipeline, Jenkins will automatically manage. But in the AWS, we need to create AWS code pipeline, and that will invoke the CI process, which is AWS code build, and do the all the build things. And once it build, it will directly push the code on the Docker Hub. And once we on the Docker Hub from the code deploy, we can push those artifacts or the Docker images to the EC2 instances or anywhere. Let's go on a project details. Just change the details from here. We need to getting issue in the Docker registry URL. So let's change the whole thing as part of here and just paste it over here. Now mostly we didn't get any error. Just start build. Let's go on a build phase. Okay, pre-build is done. Building process is on the process, and after building process environmental, let's check on the build. After building, it will push and the post command pipeline was successful, it will print. Okay, on the pre-build is running, like pre-build is done, build is running. Okay, it succeeded. Let's check over here. We'll get our image over here or not. No, we didn't get any image as such repositories. Okay, we have two images right now. How? On this, yeah, we get the images. I need to delete this one. It will create automatically. Okay, delete this repository. Simple Python app. Delete. This is Python app. we have completed our code build process over here. Now we can check. Now we can select. Now we can set up AWS code pipeline quickly. So AWS account GitHub users will use the AWS. It will trigger AWS code pipeline automatically to the code build. So pipeline code pipeline. Select AWS code pipeline. Create pipeline. Let's name as AWS no Python test test app test app no test app. Version 2. Pipeline type, we didn't changing anything over here. Existing service role, need to check. Okay, gonna pipelines, AWS Code Pipeline, simple Python app, Python app. We keeping by default. Let's create a service provider, GitHub, uh, GitHub version 2. Always select the GitHub version 2. Connect to GitHub. We need connection name simple. You can give whatever your name you want over here. It just requires a connection name. Sim- Simple Python app. Okay. Let me authorize redirecting to the application. Uh, okay. Authorized. Connect. AWS app. Is it is it visible over here now? Okay. No. Install new app. Do I need to install anything? Uh, Install. Okay. It will install on my GitHub account. Okay, connect. Yeah, it is connected. Default branch itself. We don't change anything over here. Choose the repository. Python one. Yeah, Python app. Master. My branch. Output format. We keep as by default. We don't change over anything over here. Trigger. Okay, specify filter, click on next. Build provider, obviously the code pipeline. We have created one project, kind of Python Flask app, single build, next. Deployer, we don't have a deployer right now because we are doing the CI we are doing the CI part only today. The CD part will we can proceed on the next video. Let's skip this and just create pipeline. So pipeline has created. Let's change something on. Let's change anything. Let's made a change to our GitHub account, GitHub repository. The trigger configuration source is not valid. Make sure you choose the trigger configuration each action. Okay, we need to do something. I guess create pipeline. Mm, Triggers. Okay, and we need to go on a deploy stage, build stage. That's the third. Not here. Next, deployer, no deploy, previous. Push pull request, branch, include, exclude. We're not changing on anything over here as such. Next, single bail and environment optional. Okay, not an issue. Mumbai itself, deployer name, no deployer, skip the stage, skip it, and just create pipeline. Trigger configuration that need to check. Okay, we need to check everything over here as part of code deployment process, code pipeline creation. Bit of version 2 selected correct. Bit of Python app, from master, trigger type no. Okay, start pipeline on a push on the head. Okay, start now. Check. Skip this deployment stage. create pipeline. Okay, the pipeline has created. It is checking, no executions yet. Okay, on the pipeline, let in progress. It is all directly pulling the code and push the build doing the build process over here. So we can get the logs from logs over here. So current phase is pre-build. It is again updating our code repository over here. Over Docker images. Once it will be published 7 minutes ago. Let's check once the phase is done. Let's check it is updated or not. Currently on a build phase. Okay. Okay, completed. Done. Need to refresh it once, I guess. Release change. No, not been done yet. Succeeded 1 minute ago. Let's try to refresh here. Yeah, it has updated the image. The tag latest has been updated just a minute ago. We have seen previously, we are getting like 7 minutes ago. Now it is updated by default by the build process. So we have deployed overall things such as AWS CodeCommit and the code build. In as part of code build, the get out check, build and test, the code scan, the image build, image scan, and the image push. We have implemented as part of our like we haven't like scan the image. We have directly create the image and the push image. We don't do the code scan, but we have pushed directly like created a pipeline, then create a code deploy, and just creating some of the stages and just push the Docker image to a Docker hub. So basically, we have done this, and that's all. We have deployed our CI process as part of our CI/CD video. So okay.